Okay, in this video, I want to talk about For Honor, and I want to talk about who. My first is who I think is gonna be the two new heroes in For Honor, and I think they're gonna belong to the Volin faction, and one of them gonna be a mercenary. It's gonna be a Mongol warrior, a Mongolian warrior, and the other one is gonna be one of the person in the Runs of the Three Kingdom, and that is totally forget his name now, but this is the guy with this is Yang Jung Guanji, the not of the Three Brothers, the guy against the Three Brothers, and his weapon is like a pole arm weapon. It's like a Guan. Sorry for that. I totally forgot. So the thing is like one of them is a mercenary. I think it's the Mongolian warrior. I think it's heavy. The other one is hybrid, and that is the one with the polearm weapon. Both of them gonna belong to the Volin faction. I have already done a video about this. The reason why I do an update video is to talk about African warriors. I think should be very, very nice to see in For Honor 2. We have no African warrior in this game. So the thing I want to talk about this is there is so many different like cultures in Africa, different weapons, different armor, and so on. Like from the most famous, I think you know, is the Zulu warriors. But we have so many more warrior culture in Africa, and just beside the Zulu, we have the Malian Empire, we have the Ethiopian, we have the Kushites, so East Ethiopia, and Sudanese warriors, warrior in Nigeria, Benin Empire, the Benin, and so there's so many things really you can do. If you have an African faction, like the North African, South African, the Ivory Coast, and so on. There's so many things you can do with the African faction in For Honor. So I think it's not really any excuse to not have any African warriors in the game, because we know how the armor looks. We know how different swords looks in Africa, from different places in Africa, all the way from like straight sword, saber sword, chainmail, textile armor, and so on. So we know that. So, and we also know that some famous Africans, like for example, one of them was a samurai, and the other one works with the Indian against the Mongols. Sorry, I forget their name now, but yeah. So yeah, so the thing is with like in For Honor, that is now it's okay. For now we're gonna. I really hope sorry again. Okay, sorry again. The thing is, like in For Honor, is we have a Viking faction, we have a samurai faction, and we soon probably will have a complete then we have Knight, and then soon we have complete Volin faction, if these two new heroes will belong to the Volin faction. And that is the most logical sense, if they will join the Volin faction. These two new heroes, one I think is a Mongolian warrior, the other one I think is one so I not remember the name of, but one inspiration from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Liu Bei. Sorry. His name is Liu Bei. I think one of the heroes will be Liu Bei, and Liu Bei is not going to be Liu Bei as Liu Bei, but it will be a person who's not going to have similar weapon as Liu Bei. Will probably be one of the new heroes for the Wulin. It will be Liu Bei. So that is where I think with these two new heroes. But the other thing is that I talked before about is For Honor 2. But I really think they should put in African faction in For Honor 2. If I don't think they should do it right now, I think it's better to do it when it's a new game and a new story. For then you can put the African faction in the story, and you can put other faction, new culture in For Honor 2, other factions that will build up the story. Something, and then you can have new breach maps, different maps in For Honor, like African maps, like Indian maps, Persian maps. You can have like Iron Age warriors, like the Celts from different places, like in Spanish Celts, Turkey Celts from Turkey, Ireland, Scots. You can have, there's so many things you can do. Like example, an African faction. You can have a Celtic faction with different people around the world. So like Liberian Celts and so on. An Indian faction like the Marathas, the Rajput, the Mughals, the Sikhs, and so on, as the Indian faction in India. And Tibetan faction with Tibetan warriors. The other thing that can be possible is that should also be cool, that maybe we can see a Tibetan warrior join the Wulin faction. There is a possibility, but I think the strong possibility to see a Mongolian warrior join the Wulin faction, because of the political climate with Tibet and China. And so I don't know if Ubisoft will gonna risk it if they have put in a Tibetan warrior in the game. Maybe I don't know, maybe that is too high risk, and maybe the salesmen in China will not sell because they have a Tibetan warrior, because it's occupation. China have occupied Tibet, so I don't know how far they will go with that. So, but they should be cool if they put in a Tibetan warrior in the game. For I think Tibetan have so very nice armor and different weapons, like so many culture aspects to their weapons and so on, similar to like in Africa and India, and of course in other cultures as well. So yeah, but they will put in one of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Liu Bei, as one of the heroes, and yeah. So I think that is what I really think, and I think in the current situation in For Honor with the game they play, I think if I had to be 100% honestly with these things, it's almost impossible to do a game that will hold forever, that people will stick forever to play. It's almost impossible to do, because you always have to fix bugs in some places. You always have to upgrade your hero. You always have to find new way. And I think if you're always focusing on the game and you have to try to do it better and better and better, that it's gonna be a limitation for other games to develop that can take the mantle of the old game and continue the fire. So I think it's better to do a good thing as a final and release two Wulin heroes, and then try to work on For Honor 2. For I think it's better to start again and try to see what was wrong with For Honor 1 and try to take all the best thing from For Honor 1 from the start and build up from there to make For Honor 2 a better game than For Honor 1, and have more heroes, but also have the time to build up the story and build up the to much better upgrade, like to PS5, for example, and so on. So I really think it's much better. Really, it's much better to upgrade to a new game as For Honor 2, and then you have new heroes, new maps, new way, maybe mini games and so on in the game that will make it more interesting. So I think it's not. It's like example to buy a car. If you buy a car that is just so old that you cannot repair it, but you just put color on it, just put new scale on it, like you make it more look new, but it's still old. I think it's better to save up the money if you want a car that you're gonna drive around with. That is to save your money, then you have more money, then you can buy something very good as a car, for example, as the game, and don't and just start from the beginning and do not just upgrade the old game that is just old. I think it's better to it's better to finish it and then you start again, but you make more variation of heroes. You ask different historians, like armor experts and weapon expert, historian, culture experts on different culture, and ask them around. If you know you can do that, if you are Ubisoft, you can really know what culture you can ask for. There's so many experts in the field in different cultures, like in Indian arms and weapon. Example, one of them is Robert Elgood. He's one very good expert in Indian weapons. That example, you can ask that person to get better Indian warriors in the game. You can ask other person, like example Matt Easton, Scholar Gladiatorian. He have a YouTube channel. You can ask him. He is expert in like 1918th century European arms and armor, firearms, swords, daggers, and axe, and so on. And so just I think there's not any excuse to do anything wrong. I think there's so many YouTubers that really are experts in arms and armor, in weapons, and they are really good. They know really what they talk about. So I think if you are a big company, ask around, ask these people for help you to make a better game. For I think they are the experts. They really know how to handle. They work with weapons. They train to learn out medieval swordsmanship, and I think they read lots of books about old books. They talk with museum curators and so on. I think so. It's not just in For Honor. I just have to say it's also about in movie industry and also in a TV show with armor. I think because it's so many things they do wrong in TV show and in movies that should not be possible to do wrong because of all people know. What I mean is like it's like this: when you know that it finns people in the world that make armor, like Todd Workshop, and you have I try to say, sorry, I probably say it wrong now. Really try. Todd Workshop, and he very famous for making Dane axe, like an elite warrior, warrior that a very high-ranking Viking warrior used, like the Varangians and Holscards. But he make replica of these axes and other weapons and so on. But he break really exactly like the real ones. Why you don't ask him? Like you can ask. There is so many things person you can ask. Example, if you do like a Viking season 7, you can ask that person for this kind of weapons. You can ask. If there's so many people you can ask that are experts in the field of that thing, that will make the show much better. I think that it's just something really to ask experts around the world is much better. For example, name again. Oh, sorry. I think, for example, like if you do a TV show with like 16, 15, 14, 12 century from different culture, different centuries, like different armors is like from different centuries, take different time period to evolve. That some periods it maybe go faster than other periods in time periods with armor development. But I think the only thing that is just if you have the money and you have a big like you example, if you're like a Game of Thrones or a Viking, you have a big company, you have a big set of person working, but you forget the most important thing is the helmets. That's what I mean. There's so many things that we know. Example how a Viking looks like with his armor. We know, for example, what kind of helmet, but we have expert in that field. So I don't really understand why you never ask the experts in the field of this thing really to work with you, to give you the best thing from the start. So that is really what I want to say is just, I think if you do a TV show, before you do the show or you do the movie about history, ask the experts first. Talk with them, see what kind, let them show you how in armors in museum. Talk with them, and then you can work. Then you can do a replica of that armor you see in the museum to this TV show, and ask them. There's so many things you can do. Like example, if you go to a Royal Armour in Leeds, for example, you want to do a TV show with Indian armor, for example, you can see so many things there with Indian armor, and you can really see different culture of armor there as well. So I think it's no excuse to do a bad TV show when you have all this opportunity to do a very good TV show. You just need to ask the experts in that field. There's so many experts, and I think just if you're gonna start a new TV show with history, yeah, ask the experts about that thing. And there's so many things probably absolutely will work for you, that you just need, so long you do it the right way. And for example, the newest Assassin's Creed game, Valhalla, is also a thing that is, I know that is fantasy, but it's still, you know from paintings, you know from carpentries, you know from things that how a Viking shield probably will look like. You know all these things, but you still don't do it. So yeah. So that is everything. That is my rambling, and the first part of this video was about For Honor. The other thing about the TV and movie industry with armor, and I know some armor should be fantasy, but some movie is historical movies. Then what is it? When the movie is historical, you should really think to be historical correct, but not make it. Yeah. I think I'm rambling enough about this subject. So yeah.